everyone, and welcome to June month meeting. I hope you all are doing good, safe at home. So before we start, I have sad news to share. So we are sorry to inform you sad demise of Jyotiben Bipin Kumar Mehta, age of 76 years. Jyotiben was sister of Jagdish and sister-in-law of Nalini Jagdish. We pray for her soul rest in peace, and I request all of you to have a moment of silence and have her in our thoughts and prayers. No worries, Dana. All right, so now it's time to start another very important meeting, Father's Day. So, who is father? As Billy Graham said, a good father is one of the most unsung, most unpraised, most unnoticed, and yet one of the most valuable assets to our society. As a father, I understand what comes with the role of fatherhood: long days, late nights, financial pressures, but there is a lots of joys attached to that, which cannot be matched to any other part of being father. I'm sure, like me, all dads wake up every day and head off to the office looking for the blessing we have, our kids. I believe Father's Day is not about us. It's a reminder of working and building a relationship with our kids by encouraging their dreams and showing them more and more love. Lastly, I want to mention a very good Gujarati quote. Uh, in Gujarati, they compare Pita with like Surya. So પિતાની હાજરી સૂરજ જેવી હોય છે. So સૂરજ ગરમ જરૂર થાય, પણ ના હોય તો અંધારું છવાઈ જાય. So with that, I wish everyone a very happy Father's Day. Before we begin, few disclaimers. This meeting agenda is certainly different than regular Father's Day meeting, considering the situation around us and whatever the best we can do in this situation. Also, be prepared to stay a little long with us, considering we have a lot to cover today. So let me walk you through the agenda. First, we will begin with Navkar Mantra and Stavans. So today, Arvind Bhai and Arunaben Shah are going to lead that for us. They have arranged something special. They decided to stream live Prabhu Darshan from their Derasar. So I hope everybody will, take that love. Then we will have kids presentation for their fathers. Very exciting segment. Looking forward for that. Then we have discourse from Amit Bhai Pothiwala. Then we have few announcements to make. Next is the next segment is all the fun segment. We have fun game around Father's Day. Considering Mother's Day game was well received, we are doing this again. So hope you will all have fun. Then we have Father's Day fun story session. That is something continuing JSCNC tradition. And then finally we have Uvasagram Sutra. With that, without taking much time, let me hand over to Arvind Uncle and Arunaven for Stavans. So over to you, Arvind Uncle.
જય જીનેન્દ્ર, હું એક સ્તુતિ બોલું છું પહેલા. બહુકાળયા સંસાર સાગર મહાપ્રભુ સંચર્યો થય પુણ્ય રાશિ એકઠી ત્યારે જીનેશ્વર તું મળ્યો. પણ પાપ કર્મ કરેલ મેં સેવા સરસ નવ આદરી શુભ યોગ ને પામ્યા છતાં મેં મૂર્ખતા બહુ એ કરી. ઓમ નમો હરિહંતાણમ. ઓમ નમો સીતાણમ. ઓમ નમો આયરિયાણમ. ઓમ નમો વજ્રાયાણમ. નમો લોએ સવસા મૂળમ. એસો પંચ નમોકારો. સૌ પાવ પણાસણો. મંગલાણં ચ સૌવેસિન. પરમં હવૈ મંગલમ. પરમં હવૈ મંગલમ.
નમો હરિહંતાણમ. નમો સિદ્ધાણમ. નમો આયર્યાણમ. નમો વચ્છાયાણમ. નમો લોય સવસાહૂણમ. એસો પંચણમુકારો. સર્વ પાવ પરાસણો. મંગલાણં ચ સવ્યેસિં. પરમં હવૈ મંગલમ.
ચત્તારી મંગલમ. હરિહંતા મંગલમ. સિદ્ધા સાહુ મંગલમ. કેવલી પનંતો ધમ્મો મંગલમ. ચત્તારી લોકોત્તમા. હરિહંતા લોકોત્તમા. સિદ્ધા લોકોત્તમા. સાહુ લોકોત્તમા. કેવલી પનંતો ધમ્મો લોકોત્તમો. ચત્તારી શરણં પવજ્જામિ. હરિહંતે શરણં પવજ્જામિ. સિદ્ધે શરણં પવજ્જામિ. સાહુ શરણં પવજ્જામિ. કેવલી પનંત ધમ્મં શરણં પવજ્જામિ. સમરો મંત્ર બલો નવકાર. એ છે 14 પુરવનો સાર. એના મહિમાનો ને પારેનો અર્થ અનંત અપાર. સુખમાં સમરો દુઃખમાં સમરો. સમરો દિવસ નિરાત. જીવતા સમરો મરતા સમરો. સમરો સૌ સંગાત. સમરો મંત્ર બલો નવકાર. એ છે 14 પુરવનો સાર. યોગી સમરે ભોગી સમરે. સમરે રાજા રંગ. દેવો સમરે દાનવ સમરે. સમરે સૌની સંત. સમરો મંત્ર બલો નવકાર. એ છે 14 પુરવનો સાર. 68 અક્ષર એના જાણો. 68 તીરથ સાર. 8 સંપદા તી પરમાણો. 8 સિદ્ધિ દાતાર. સમરો મંત્ર બલો નવકાર. એ એ છે 14 પુરવનો સાર. નવ પદે નવ નિધિ આપે, ભવ ભવના દુઃખ કાપે. વીર વચનથી હૃદય સ્થાપે, પરમાત્મ પદ આપે. સમરો મંત્ર બલો નવકારે, છે 14 પુરવનો સાર. એના મહિમાનો નહીં પાર, એનો અર્થ અનંત અપાર. બહુ પુણ્ય કેરા પૂંજતી શુભ દેહમાન, નો મળ્યો તો અરે ભવ ચક્રનો તો નહીં એકે ટળ્યો. સુખ પ્રાપ્ત કરતા સુખ ટળે છે, લેશ લક્ષે. ક્ષણ ક્ષણ ભયંકર ભાવ મરણે, કા અહોરાજી રહો. લક્ષ્મી અને અધિકાર વધતા સુવધ્યુતે તો કહો. સુકુટુંબ કે પરિવારથી વધવાપણું એ નય ગ્રહો. વધવાપણું સંસારનું નર દેહને હારી જવો. એનો વિચાર નહીં અહો, એક પળ તમને હવો. નિર્દોષ સુખ નિર્દોષ આનંદ, યોગમે ત્યાંથી ભલે. એ દિવ્ય શક્તિમાન જેથી જંજીરેથી નીકળે. પર વસ્તુમાં નહીં મૂંઝવો, એની દયા મુજને રહી. એ ત્યાગવા સિદ્ધાંત કે પશ્ચાત દુઃખ તે સુખ નહીં. હું કોણ છું ક્યાં ઈતયો શું, સ્વરૂપ છે મારું ખરું. કોના સંબંધે વળગણા છે, રાખું કે પરવરું. એના વિચાર વિવેક પૂર્વક શાંત ભાવે જો કર્યા, તો સર્વ આત્મિક જ્ઞાનના સિદ્ધાંત તત્વ અનુભવ્યા. એ પ્રાપ્ત કરવા વચન કોનું સત્ય કેવળ માનવું. નિર્દોષ નરનું કથન માનો, તે જેણે અનુભવ્યું. તે આત્મ તારો શીઘ્ર એને ઓળખો. સર્વાત્મમાં સમદ્રષ્ટિ જોવા, વચનની હૃદય લખો. સર્વાત્મમાં સમદ્રષ્ટિ જોવા, વચનની હૃદય. મૈત્રી ભાવનો પવિત્ર ઝરણો મુજે આયા કરે. શુભતાઓ સકળ વિશ્વનું, એવી ભાવના નિત્ય રહે. એવી ભાવના નિત્ય રહે. ગુણથી ભરેલા ગુણીજનો દેખી, હૈયું મારું નૃત્ય કરે. એ સંતોના ચરણ કમળમાં मुझे जीवन नो आज रहे मुझे जीवन नो आज रहे लीन क्रूर ने धर्म विहोणा देखी दिल માં દર્દ રહે કરુણા બીની આંખોમાંથી અશ્રુનો સ્રુપ સ્રોત વહે અશ્રુનો સ્રુપ સ્રોત વહે માર્ગ બોલેલા જીવન પતિતને માર્ગ ચિંદવા ઉભો રહું કરે ઉપેક્ષા એ માર્ગની તોય સમતા ચિત્ત ધરું તોય સમતા ચિત્ત ધરું ચિત્રબાનુની ધર્મ ભાવના હૈ સૌ માનવલા વેર ઘેરના પાપ તરીને મંગલ ગીતો એ ગાવે પ્રભુ મંગલ ગીતો એ ગાવે મૈત્રી ભાવનું પવિત્ર ઝરણું મુજૈયામાં ગયા કરે શુભતાઓ સકળ વિશ્વનું એવી ભાવના નિત્ય રહે એવી ભાવના નિત્ય રહે બધાને હેપી ફાધર્સ ડે ઘણા આજે મેં એક કોટ વાંચો કે ફાધર એક સૂર્ય જેવા છે ઘણીવાર એ તપી જાય છે પણ એ જો ન હોય તો કાયમ માટે અંધારું થઈ જાય છે હેપી ફાધર્સ ડે
Thank you so much, Arvind uncle and family. So that was really good. I mean, we all can see Bhagwan in this difficult time. So thank you for sharing that. Now it's time to move to the next step, that is kids presentation. So for that, I would like to ask Sejal Ben to lead. Over to you, Sejal Ben.
Thank you, Ritesh. So now on to the most awaited segment of this joint meeting, presentation from kids for their wonderful fathers. Before I begin, students, just a couple of rules. When I announce your name, you can unmute yourself. Then first tell your name, tell your dad's name, and then start your presentation. And once you are done with your presentation, go back and mute yourself. If your dad can sit next to you, that would be great. And when it's time for your presentation, if you can turn on the video so we all can see you, that would be great too. So, all right, we are going to begin. I think first on the list is Kian and Veer Cheda. Kian and Veer, you can unmute yourself and you can start.
Are you able to hear us?
Yes, but we are not able to. Oh, perfect. Yes.
Hi, my name is V. And I am Kia. And this is our dad, Sachin Cheda. We have a song for you. I love my daddy. I love my daddy. I love my daddy. Yes, we do. Here's a kiss and a hug for you. Thank you, Daddy, for all you do. Happy Father's Day, happy Father's Day, happy Father's Day. We love you. Happy Father's Day.
Great job, Veer and Kian. Way to start this Father's Day presentation. Great job. All right, we have, next one is Udita Jain. Udita, if you can unmute yourself and start your presentation.
1 second.
Okay.
Introduce yourself and your father.
I'm Udita and this is my dad, Raj.
Hello, everybody. Can you introduce yourself again? Ask them, are you audible? Am I audible? Ask her.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. She's starting.
Tell what you are going to do.
I'm going to show you a Happy Father's Day presentation on PowerPoint. So,
Can you guys see it? Can you guys see the presentation?
Yes, we can.
Great, all right, good to start.
okay, so Happy Father's Day next. Our Happy Father's Day and quotes. This sweetest.
Okay.
Your father is someone you look up to no matter how tall you grow. This is some pictures. It's not a very big slideshow though. And then this. Okay, that's it. That's it.
Nice. Great job, Udita. Yes, I agree. We always look up to our fathers. Good job.
Sharing.
All right. Next, we have Malhar and Ishan Kuruva. Neha, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yes.
All right. I made a book that I'm gonna read. My dad finds trails for us to bike on and plays games. My dad drives me to different places. Can you be a little louder? My dad plays outside with me when I'm playing outside. My dad buys stuff that I need for school and class. My dad helps me set up my Zoom classes. My dad drives me to the stores. My dad helped get me my new bike. Happy Father's Day to all dads. Thank you.
You are Malhar Kuruva and this is your dad, Ketan Kuruva. Cool.
I am Malhar Guru. This is
Read what you written.
I like my dad because he takes me to the stores. He taught me how to bike. He takes me to bike on trails. He takes me to the swimming pool.
He bought me stuff. That is his last thing. Thank you.
Great job, Malhar and Ishan. Awesome. Okay, next we have Prisha and Vihan Rakecha. Prisha and Vihan.
Janendra, my name is Vihan. This is my sister Prisha, and my dad's name is Vikas Rakesh. And I wrote a little paragraph for him. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious and nice. You're a wish that comes true. You take risks like going out at such a time. You get us what we need, even if that means missing a part of the show. When I ask you a question, you help me figure it out. I can't say thank you enough. Happy Father's Day. I wrote 5 sentences. Dad, you are great to fix things. Dad, you are best at driving cars. Dad, you are best at cleaning. Dad, you are best at telling us stuff. Dad, you are best at drawing.
Thank you.
Great job, Prisha and Bihan. Awesome. Next, we have our youngest student, RV Deliwala. Ruchi, can you unmute yourself and
Yeah. Are you guys able to see us and hear us?
we are able to hear? Oh, yes, yes. Now we are able to see you as well. Yes.
Okay, Arvi, let's go. Say.
Jai Jinendra, my name is Arvi Deliwala and my father's name is Vicky Deliwala, and I like to play with my dad and all evening. I drive cycles with my dad is so cool.
तू मेरा दिल, तू मेरी जान.
I love you, Daddy.
तू मासूम, तू शैतान.
But you love me, Daddy. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. This is for you.
That was so sweet, RV. It touched all of our hearts. Very good.
Thank you. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Next, we have Ayan and Arav Salot.
Okay. Can you see us, Sejal?
Yes. And who is going to go first?
A little one. Ready?
All right. Awesome.
Tandai पूछा तारों से
Come in.
तारों ने पूछा हजारों से सबसे प्यारा कौन है पापा मेरे पापा.
Good job. See Arav, 1 second. I'll share a slide for Arav.
Do you want me to share or Arav can share?
I have it. I'll share in a minute.
Okay, perfect. Great job, Ayan.
Thank you.
There you go.
I made a presentation for my dad, Nitesh Salot. And the first slide says, I love you, Dad. You are my superhero. You are the one who can give up everything for me. And thank you for giving, this is a quote, thank you for giving me a firm foundation, guidance, and love. But most of all, thank you for teaching me how to spread my own 2 arms and fly. These are some pics with me, my little brother, and dad. This is another poem. Father's love is above all. He will not let you fall. For his child, he can go wild. His love is pure. We get everything. He makes sure. He is legendary. His love has no boundary. Happy Father's Day. Love you, Dad.
Thank you.
Great job, Arav and Ayan. Ayan, loved your singing. Good job. Keep it up. Next, we have Anaya, Arsh, and Arav Parekh.
Can you guys hear us?
Yes, we can see you and hear you. Yes.
Okay, hi, I'm Arav, and this is my dad, Sion Prick, and this is my Nana, Ranjit Desai, and I wrote a paragraph for them. Daddy and Nana, I love you both so much. You have helped me throughout my life and helped me excel at everything I try. You both push me to my limits only so I can be my best self. You both are kind, strong, caring, and brave. You both sacrifice so much for me. There aren't enough words to say this, but thank you and happy Father's Day. Love, Art. Hi, my name is Arsh. This is my dad, Silam Prek, and my Nana, Ranjit Desai, and I made a presentation. So this is my dad and my Nana, and happy Father's Day. And my dad and my Nana are funny, happy, strong, handsome, clever, and marvelous. My definition of father is a protector, teacher, and encourager, a person who picks you up when you fall, brushes you off, and lets you try again, admired and much loved. often referred as a son's first hero. See also Superman. And I made a video. It has to load. Happy Father's Day.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Hi, I'm Anaya Prak, and this is my dad. This is my dad, Seelan Prak, and this is my Nana Ranjit Desai. And I made a Father's Day presentation for him.
They've had some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to the next one and then I'll give you a signal when they're ready again?
Okay, that works.
Yep.
All right. So next is Manav and Karan Parekh. Manav and Karan. Oh, are you ready, Salim?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll come back to you at the end. And right now we'll go to Manav and Karan Parekh. All right, go ahead, guys.
Hello, my name is Karan Parekh, and this is my dad, Kalpesh Parekh. Dad, you are always on our side when we want to do fun stuff. We are very concerned about our health and try to do the best for our well-being. I love talking with you about current affairs and sometimes history lessons. You wake up early and you work all day long, late into the night, but always have time for us. You play with us, laugh at our silly jokes, sort out our fights, and so on. Thank you, Dad, for forcing me to learn how to ride a bike. I remember at first I did not want to ride a bike, but now I enjoy doing it. You do everything for us. You are the best dad. Thank you so much for all the love, care, and guidance. Happy Father's Day. I love you so much.
Hello, my name is Manav, and this is my dad. Kalpesh Parekh. Thank you. Thank you, Dad, for being the best. You always let us buy stuff that won't us in a lot. You are always concerned about our health and education. When Mom is out, you let us do whatever we want, and we make the best mac and cheese and eggs. Thank you for playing with me. I really enjoy the time we spent as a family. Thank you for making me learn to ride a bike, and I love riding with my friends in my neighborhood. At night, when you talk me and Quan in the bed and sing songs to us, I love it. Thank you, Dad, for everything. Happy Father's Day. I love you all.
All right.
Great job, Manav and Karan. Awesome. We have now Aryan Lalan. Aryan, can you unmute yourself?
Hello, I'm Aryan. This is my sister Anika, and this is my dad Dan. I have written a few things for him. So I'll just start now. Hey Dad, wishing you a great Father's Day. Though today the world celebrates Father's Day, every day is a Father's Day for me. You are always ready to learn things, always very kind, and always help me out. Also, I love playing with you, working out with you, and reading with you. I love doing everything together. You truly are the best dad, and that is a fact. Lots of love, Aryan and Anika.
Thank you.
Great job, Aryan. Anika, do you want to say anything? Maybe
I think
next year.
he's a little shy or
We're
something.
still working on it. I need to get into a good books. I'm still working on it.
Okay. Great job, Aryan. Oh, sorry. Yes. And now we have Marmi and Neville Cheda. Marmi and Neville, can you unmute yourself? And do you want to share your presentation, or do you want me to share the presentation?
No, can you?
Can you share it?
Yes, just give me a minute. All right. And first, is Marmi going to go, right? Okay. Can you see now?
Father's Day. Bye, Mommy Cheetah. Next slide. Dear Papa, thank you for helping us study, working, cooking, letting us watch iPad and lots more. Yes, I don't want to type this. Love your daughter, Mommy. Here are a few quotes. Anyone can be a father, but it takes someone special to be a dad. The heart of a father is a masterpiece of nature. Next slide. I love you, Papa.
Thank you.
Great job, Marmi. You didn't shy away from typing Papa for so many times, but you just didn't want to type the other things. All right. So now, Neville, let me share your presentation as well.
Very nice, Mami. Huh? Well said. Good luck, Neville.
All right. Can you see Neville?
Yes. Happy Father's Day. Bye, Neville Cheetah. Next slide. The awesome things you have ever done for us. You help us study, which is a real great help to me because I have a lot of hard stuff. You make divine milkshakes at night time sometimes. There are not enough words to express how amazing you are. You are such an inspiring person. There are not enough words to describe how amazing you are. Thank you for everything you have done for us. Next. Dads are most ordinary men turned into heroes. I forgot to add quotes. Okay, that's it.
Great job, Marmi and Neville. Awesome. We'll have to come over for divine milkshakes.
Yeah.
Or you will have to make it at one of the meetings when we go back. All right. Now, Celine, are you ready?
Anaya's ready.
All right. Anaya.
Okay. I made a Father's Day presentation for my Nana and my dad. This is my dad's Dylan correct, and this is my Nana running the sky. Happy Father's Day. And then there's a picture of my Nana and my dad and me. I love my dad better than food. He is so kind. He is so brave. May this day be special to you. This one's loading. I will always savor the sweet moments with you and love you with all my heart. You support me, you're kind to me, and you love me. May this day be special to you, and I will always love you with all my heart. That is for my dad. There's your family photos. There's one with a monkey on my dad's head. This is when we got our puppy and a bunch of other photos. And then this is for my Nana and my dad. Happy Father's Day to my wonderful grandpa. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everything you are. Thank you for the loving hand, the support and care. Thank you for being my grandpa, the best person in my life. Thank you for being always with me through happiness and strife. Happy Father's Day. And then this one, Happy Father's Day, Grandpa. And then this one says, Happy Father's Day. This one is, we will always love you, Dad. Happy Father's Day. These are some other family photos. These are my cousins. This was when I was younger. This also photo was from my graduation when I was younger. And then this is for my Nana. It says Grandpa. G, grateful. R, rock and roll. A, amazing. N, nice. D, delightful. P, precious. And A, aspiring. The meaning is directing one's hopes or ambitions towards becoming a specified type of person. And that's it. Happy Father's Day.
Great job, Arav, Arsh, and Anaya. Great job. Thank you for a lovely presentation. So happy Father's Day to all the dads from our community, from Pashala teachers as well. Hope you all have a great day. And that is it for the presentation.
Happy Father's Day. You skipped over Adi, Ishan, and Ivan.
Oh, so sorry. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes. Somehow I don't know. It is Adi, Ishan, and Ivan. Yes. I'm so sorry. I apologize for that oversight.
So, my name is Adi Shah, and this is my dad, Ketan Shah. And I made this card and a few other things with my brothers, Ivan Shah and Ishan Shah.
They made different origami things, so they made an envelope.
Dear Dad, I hope you had a great Father's Day. You're the best dad in the universe. You deserve anything a father could ask for. I wish you the best. Love, son.
Thank you.
And then my brother Ivan made these sunglasses. Yeah, that said the best dad. And
then we also made a sword
because yesterday our dad just finished watching the Harry Potter series, so it's kind of like a celebration.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Feel like a Superman now.
Great job, Adi, Ivan, and Ishan. Sorry, Purvi. I had like tick mark that they have joined, and then I thought they have already presented. So my apologies. Sorry about that, Ketan. Happy Father's Day to you as well.
All good.
All right. So that's it for the presentation from kids side. Back to you, Ritesh.
All right. So thank you, Sejalman, and great job, everyone, all the kids. Let's have one more round of applause for all the kids. All right. So moving to the next segment of the meeting, today we have Amit Bhai Potiwala, who is going to talk about Ashtanga Yoga by Maharshi Patanjali. So this session, I think, it will be multiple part session. Today we are trying to cover as much as we can in the first part. So without much ado, let me hand over to Amit Bhai. Over to Amit Bhai.
So Ritesh, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So Jai Jinendra, everybody. Every so often, I get the opportunity to stand in front of very, very smart, very scholarly people that actually know a lot more than I know. And this is one of those occasions. Today also happens to be a very special day. It's a Father's Day by all means, and hands down to all the fathers. And my sincere vandan to every one of them, because they are the ones who make our lives more worth living and very rewarding. So everything we have really starts from our parents. So sincere vandan to them. આજે International Yoga Day પણ છે. It's interesting, right? When I go through some of the details here, it will become very evident. Jainism has embraced yoga for ages. We just don't seem to practice it or preach it as frequently as we could. And things started a lot of this whole idea of spirituality and trying to understand. For me, it started with Praveen Uncle Swadhyay. Every time I talk about any of this, most all of the credit goes to Praveen Uncle. And recently, Praveen Uncle actually tasked us saying, hey guys, why don't you start reading some of this material yourself, pick individual concepts and talk about it. That was one of the greatest opportunity we had. It kind of forced us to get out of our comfort zone and start reading. And harder, all the excuses we had, oh, Gujarati is so hard, I don't understand these words, and it's so boring, and I'd much rather go to Praveen Uncle and just get easy answers. But as we started reading, it made us do a lot more introspection. And then the swadhyayas that we continued, and each of us at different times presented different topics. I would say my sincere vandan to everybody who attends that swadhyaya. Mahesh Uncle, Praveen Uncle, obviously you are the scholars, but the others who actually come to explain what learning is and having an open dialogue and trying to fill those gaps in our understanding. Dialogues have been very, very useful. So without too much details, our real intention today is to go to the root of a lot of this yoga. The oldest, one of the most significant and one of the oldest scriptures. I mean, of course, yoga, Upanishads, Vedas, all of that had some references. But first real comprehensive compilation of all the steps was done by Maharishi Patanjali. And Maharishi Patanjali's book has been critiqued by so many great authors, scholars over the years. And there's variations of his book has been published. So we elected to go to Maharishi Patanjali's writings. So the other sincere vandan will go to Maharishi Patanjali. Bija Bada Apna Acharya. And very importantly, the book I read was from Swami Vivekananda, who actually wrote on Maharishi Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. So sincere vandan to Swami Vivekananda. Impressive thing about Swami Vivekananda was he, in the 1893 time frame, this is almost 120 years ago, he stood in front of the international audience, 200 plus scholars, and talked about yoga and how our pursuit of divine is universal. You may call any path you want to, you can name any path you want to, but our quest for divine is universal. So before I go too deep in it, I would say, first of all, I'm a learner. I'm learning, asking questions. So if my interpretations of something that I present here is not accurate and I make mistakes, my intention is to cause zero discomfort in anybody's mind. If I have some significant errors and you seem to know more, please feel free to catch up with me. With sincere humility, I would ask for Michami Dukanam if I make any mistakes. So let's get started. And before I go too deep here, Rajesh, Ritesh, as I get closer to the time, if you can send a text to my cell phone, I will know I'm getting closer to the time. Right now, I'm planning to go until about 12:30. But if I need to wrap up sooner or any concerns you have, please let me know.
No, that's the time.
So, Mari Bhagwan said, we all have our level of intellect, our reasoning. His point to everybody was that, don't listen to what I say just because I have an eloquent speech. I may have this radiant personality. You just have just the level of respect for me, whether it's born out of ignorance or or reverence. Most importantly, what is being heard by you needs to pass your test of intellection. Do an introspection yourself. See if this material that's being presented to you actually means something to you. Do that introspection. This will become yours. Otherwise, the ignorance that prevailed before will still prevail after, unless you start doing the introspection. So, just a quick example on this is recently Shramaniji Malay Pragnaji यहाँ से त्यारे in Raleigh, and she had a class on meditation earlier this year. And for about a day and a half of meditations, we were getting so deeply into this, and it was interesting. What seems boring, the idea of meditation and doing it for 2 days, actually it was getting more and more exciting as we got into the second day. And she said the power of suggestion is so powerful that she wanted to give us an experience of what power of suggestion could be. So she had us meditate, and her goal was that at the end of the meditation, most, if not all of you, will have your hands up in the air, holding up, and just because of the power of suggestion. Now, having the background of science, my shallow buddhi, my shallow intellection, all the stuff that I am, my memories, my sanskars, all of that culmination of all of that, instead of being a student, instead of having an open mind, I actually continuously in my head questioned all of the stuff that was going on. Even I was completely sold on the idea of meditation, I was in complete disbelief that somebody could raise my hand, right? And again, many of you will have your own explanation, and you'll probably form your own judgment. So about first 10 minutes of this meditation that was started, I was continuously processing, oh, this could be hypnosis, this could be, even if it happens to be out of hypnosis, mind control, there's some technique, all that type of stuff. But this just cannot work. And the other side is I'm also somewhat aware that I'm not as knowledgeable, as open-minded to actually experience any of it, to even get to the deepest aspect of me and have that dhyan. But about 10 minutes into this, I had to remind myself that I am subjectively fighting the knowledge that's being imparted here. Is there a chance if I could just let the knowledge flow, whatever is being said flow through me? And I would say another 10 minutes passed, and when we came out of meditation, my hand was up about a foot from my knee. And most everybody in the audience, and these are people who are doctors, engineers, all very, very scholarly people, accountants, very smart people with pseudo short buddhi that I have, or maybe a lot more than I have, but shortness, without the deep intellection. But the idea is open our mind. We'll go into this stuff here and start talking about yoga. And even though some of our ritualistic practices don't talk about yoga as much or meditation as much, let's be real. Jainism is a path of Jnana. Jainism is a path of Raj Yoga, which has lots to do with dhyan. And for those who understand it, obviously practice it. And once they start practicing it, they revere the whole idea of meditation. So what is religion? What is yoga? Really, when it comes down to it, it's to reconnect. For a Christian, you reconnect to the divine, the God. For Hindu, it's reconnect to Brahman. For Jain, reconnect to Atma. And for a Buddhist, it's get rid of all the sanskars. Be nothing. See, the ultimate quest is uniting the human spirit with, divine spirit. So yoga has been mentioned, as I said, about, if you go about 1000 BC, there are actual references in Upanishads. And then from that, I would say about 400 BCE, in that time frame, there's still a dispute when Maharshi Patanjali wrote his portion of the book. It started from there, and then it's progressed from that point. So there's about, if you look at all of these disciplines, and going back to what Swami Vivekananda said, everybody's quest is to unite with the divine. It doesn't matter which path you take. And some of the line items that are here, they're not necessarily mutually exclusive. The first three have lots of examples in the past, lots of history. Karma Yoga, selfless service. I mean, you. When I think of that, I think of Mother Teresa. Doesn't really matter. She had lost the I-ness, the ego, and she was just completely selflessly serving as many people as she could. Raj Yoga is really the path of meditation. Buddhism, Jainism practices this more so than many others. Bhakti Yoga, you think of Mirabai, Tulsidas. Again, the idea of the I-ness, the ego that we have, when it disappears. So if somebody who goes into bhakti so deeply, the utter surrenders happens. And once you've surrendered to that idea of divine, whether it's a imagery of a god or imagery of the universal consciousness, at the moment that the I-ness disappears, you actually are getting close to yoga. Now, in the I would say 1000 CE, current era of 1000 onwards, in that time frame, I'd say even 800 CE time frame, tantric yoga actually started becoming more prevalent. Tantric yoga has lots of capabilities. It actually has some ailments to some of the illnesses too. And you can use these last two practices for improvement of certain aspects of your body, certain aspects of your mind, increasing focus. You could use that. But Uncle always reminds us that anything you do, if it doesn't remove your kashais, then it's a practice that's not worth having. An example here is if Kundalini Yoga or Hatha Yoga is going to make you look beautiful, and it's going to make you look, like a Kapalbhati makes your face shine. And if the intention is, oh, I'm going to go in public and everybody's going to love how I look. Look at how great I am. I actually take care of myself. If he's going to drive that ego, then you use the tool that was meant for something much, much, much greater. You only used it for something that's extremely shallow. And for all that matters, you actually are taking several steps backwards in the quest of spirituality. And on the top right-hand corner, Padmam Nanam Tavodaya. This is out of the Jain scriptures, essentially trying to say any practice that we do, whichever path we take, the practice really needs to come from understanding. Then daya can happen. Then something goodness can come. So Padmam Nanam, first knowledge, and then quest for spirituality. So bit of a history. If we go back in the time of before the current era, the BCE 800 time frame, there's a serious ritualistic dominance. People said God can be only achieved through them. And it's only for certain few that were the priestly members of the society. And if anybody wanted to reach God, they needed to go through that. And that also led to a lot of these rituals that really didn't make sense in current times, the animal sacrifices and people doing craziest things. Abraham was asked to give, I think it was firstborn. I mean, those types of things were going on, not necessarily in the 800 BC, but in that time, that ignorance had grown so much. In 700 to 1000 BC, several different things happened. Many of the scholars actually came out and said that cannot be the final answer. God, divine, universal consciousness cannot just be achieved by going through one person and doing some strange rituals that may or may not make sense. It started asking questions. Is there something more to, for someone like me, going to Derasar and coming back, I'm done, I'm going to go to Swarg. There should be a lot more than that. They must have asked very, very deeper questions. And that culminated into several of these disciplines coming into being. Sankhya, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, Vedanta, then Jainism, Buddhism, Charvikas, Ajivikas. And depending upon whether they actually had a deity they were praying to, in other words, particular god they were praying to, or praying to Paramatma or Atman, pure Swarup. 400 to 200 BC is when it's believed that Maharshi Patanjali wrote the Yoga Sutra in that time frame. It's an amazing book, and we're going to talk through a lot of the details that are in this book. And then it's still a bit unknown who wrote the actual critique. Bhasya means critique on that book. There's a Vyasa is the name that's being used. So Vyasa Muni may have done it several hundred years later, or there's a school of thought that it was also done, Bhasya was also done by Maharishi Patanjali himself. But to say the least, it was expanded. Many practices were added. I'll now touch on that later. The 800 to 1200 of the current era time frame, the tantric practices began. Belief is the Hatha Yoga may have existed for ages well before this time frame. But as the tantric yoga practices came in, as I said, some of these ailments were also useful. People found some benefits of the tantric practice to still achieve steps further towards spirituality. But in that same time frame, very, very important texts were written by Jain Acharya Haribhadra Suri and Jain Acharya Hemchandracharya. And those two books actually took Maharishi Patanjali's fundamental principles and drew parallel and actually had insightful details that came from that foundation into how a Shravak would actually practice Jainism, doing the same practices. And then there was about 12 to 1900 CE. It's still considered a dark period of yoga. Tantric practices may have prevailed. Some meditation may have gone on. Not a lot happened. In the current era, then again in 1900 CE, I mentioned Swami Vivekananda and many other Maharshis, actually Rishis, actually made this idea of yoga, Ashtanga yoga, popular. Now, even though on a normal day, and I can speak for me, growing up for 20, 30 years, let's say after the age of, let's say 15 years, where I would call myself, okay, I knew what was going on, or a little bit idea of what was going on. I saw Jainism as, pratikraman કરવા જવાનું. આ રીતે બેસવાનું, આ રીતે મું થવાનું, આ રીતે મુપત્તિ પડવાની, આપણા નોકર ગણી રાખવાના, અને બીજા નમન કરી આવવાનું, અને દેરાસરમાં જઈ આવ્યા, પૂજા કરી આવ્યા. And that's exactly how it is, and don't ask too many questions. Now, the whole idea of that was, and I can't blame anybody except for myself. I never cared to actually lead any more than just ritualistic practices that were saying, oh, do this, do this, do this. And the whole idea of practicing and preaching did not necessarily put emphasis on introspection, dhyan, my internal awareness of where I stand in this blissfulness. Do I have the ability to be happy in all circumstances? Those types of things weren't as common. Now, you have in other places, but the places where I grew up in Ahmedabad and places like that, it was so much more driven. There was so much emphasis about this ritualistic idea. And I'm not against the ritualistic idea. It brings the society together, and it gets us to actually even ask the questions. So please don't take it as it's a wrong thing. Those can be very good enablers. But I remained at that shallowest surface of that, and I did not do any more introspection from there. So you look at this here. The first references started in about 600 CE. And the three starred items that you see here, they are probably the most significant, with a lot of depth type literary work from Acharya Haribhadra Suri. And you can see he wrote several books. Hemchandracharya's Yoga Sutra, I'm actually reading it as we speak. Yashovijay's Tika on Yoga Sutra of Patanjali also. And they actually, the way they wrote it, the way they promoted it, it's still being embraced by all the the relatively recent times of scholars. And some of them are listed here. Let me see if I can hide this so you can actually see this a little better. So we have Srimad Rajchandra, Acharya Mahapragnya ji, Buddhi Sagar ji. They all tried to promote the idea of meditation and yoga. Okay. So this is not a science that Jainism doesn't believe in. I want us to all know this is heavily embraced in Jainism. And ultimately, when you get past this shallow surface of rituals of Jainism, there is a lot of depth associated to yoga. So before I go into Maharishi Patanjali's exact work, it's essential that Sankhya philosophy is understood in little more detail. Sankhya, it was, as I mentioned, in the 700 BCE time frame, when these scholars were coming out asking a lot of questions that these rituals in and of themselves are not necessarily the path to salvation or spirituality. And in that time, uh, Rishi Kapil is credited to have developed this whole philosophy of Sankhya. So Jainism, if you think of Jainism as a religion, Sankhya, you can call that a religion. It was a philosophy that was practiced. And then again, it's interesting how what Sankhya philosophy created as a scripture is being embraced by a lot of these other religions. So Rishi Kapil is credited to have started this Sankhya philosophy. And the very, very, very core principle of Sankhya philosophy is Prakriti, which is the nature, is separate from the universal consciousness. And a human body, an alive human, a jiv, is affected by the influence of the Prakriti, which is the everything other than the deepest consciousness. And there's this whole duality, and treating them as two separate things is really the foundation of that. And as complex as this diagram looks, this is my attempt to explain what Sankhya backdrop is. So before we go into Maharishi Patanjali's writing and understand what he wrote, we need to understand what the foundation of everything that was written. Okay, you look at these roughly about 20 line items in the blue to the right. Either they are the instruments or the stimuli themselves. In other words, eye is an instrument for seeing. Seeing is a stimuli. What you see causes vibration, causes you to think, and you actually have to react. Become the enabler. If you look at these 20 line items, they are constantly influencing what we do. Our mind is 100% of the times, except for deep sleep time, is consumed in being stimulated by these pieces, the enablers and the actual stimuli, and which causes. And there's this. I think Hinduism talks about this quite deeply. There's about 4 aspects. You have man, which is the mind. Then egos, which is sanskar or memories. Then we have the intellect, the buddhi, which is the prognosis of everything that happens. And then and then comes the pureness, the consciousness, the chitta, which is the deepest, cleanest aspect of ourselves. So these stimuli cause mind to get excited. Hey, I saw this guy has a fancy car, fancy house, and he goes on vacations and got some of the best dresses and very, very great lifestyle. I want to, and he's a doctor. I want to become a doctor, right? So man triggers this stuff, right? It's just constantly triggering what comes next. What do I want next? Buddhi is like a project manager. Buddhi, the intellect we have, actually goes back and says, what does my memory bank have? Which is all the sanskaras or egos. That you see those 3 boxes, the sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. He goes in and looks at all of the memories and says, you want to become a doctor, you're going to have to study, you're going to have to get into right schools and study hard and get great ACTs and great scores and then great school, and then compete for getting into the best medical school. We'll go through the medical school and then do your residency, you become a doctor. And it starts processing. Buddhi actually is really at work trying to figure out what it understands. Now, Buddhi is only as good as what sanskar, ego, or those 3 boxes actually have in it. The same good concept, it could be very noble to be a doctor. It could be so humble that I'll put every bit of my life energy to become such a great doctor that the day a patient leaves my office, he's going to have the utmost satisfaction. And ailing that type of problem is the deepest aspect of human feelings I can reach, and I can be a great contributor to that. And for that, I will do everything within my power to be a great doctor, right? Now, if somebody is thinking that way, That thinking is coming from the sattvic ahamkar, sattvic ego. Ahamkar, literally, aham in I, kar means whatever causes aham. So ahamkar, and it's the ego. So in that case, for that person who's thinking that way, the buddhi, the project manager, the intellect has actually fetched the place of that memory that is completely sattvic. It is driven by compassion. It's driven by something, a greater good of mankind, greater good to do something better for somebody else. Now, majority of the times, we are in the second part of that box, which is Rajasik Ahankar. This is the active ego. This is the one that actually get the job done. Darn it, if I cheat on this test a little bit, it's completely okay. Let me just get through it, Or if I do better than these three guys, I'll probably get into this thing, and I'll go to I'll find all this good or bad or different. Doesn't really matter. I need to get there, and very easily willing to compromise the depth of the pureness and actually mix up the darkness and the good goals completely together and pursue this with serious rigor. That's where most of us operate, because we still were raised with a lot of good sanskar, a lot of good disciplines, civilized way of living. So we are all civilized, but within the limits of the law, within the limits of what the socially acceptable norm is, I'm going to stretch my boundaries as best as I can and get away with it, and I'm going to get my goal accomplished. At some point, even if I do become a doctor, then I may lose the whole perspective of doing greater good for the humanity. I may get stuck in buying the next thing I have, or just becoming harder to get an appointment for. I could do a lot of those things. The tamasic part is the darkest part. I want to believe that mankind doesn't operate as deeply in the tamasic part, but let's be real, we all have the tamasic part. The tamasic part happens when, a બે દિવસ જ પહેર્યું તું, target કદાચ પાછું લઈ લેશે. Right? That's pure, whether we like it or not. I'm just filing my taxes and I have this possibility of getting away with this extra donation I can report. Or if I don't talk about this stuff, sometimes this investment's way back in India, if I don't report it, it's completely fine. These tax laws are just wrong. They should be doing this. I have double taxing if I get some money in India and I do it here. Now, what we don't realize, and Pranakala is a very beautiful example of this, when you cheat this, you're cheating the entire nation. You're stealing not just from IRS, you're stealing from everybody else also. If you really don't like some law, and you feel like you're being subjected to something that's not fair, then have the guts that Mahatma Gandhi had. When he did not like British law on salt, he proclaimed it openly. He said, I'm going to go to Dandi, I will make salt, and I will not pay taxes. The entire world knew. He had hundreds of people behind him walking to him. Dandi Kuch was the whole idea. So instead of getting into this tamasic idea, I'll just cheat. No, he actually, if he didn't like something, he had a passive but very, very reasonable sattvic resistance. So it doesn't automatically mean that we become wimps, have the actual courage. But anyway, I'm going to go move from all these memories, ahankar or sanskar, is really what we make it available for our buddhi to use in given moment. And buddhi makes these calls left, right, up, and down, right? Sometimes gets heavily influenced by what one immediately wanted and gets rushed. Idea is that this whole sattvic idea is where chitta resides. Sattvic ahankar, the good ahankar that's there, is really where chitta resides. So if the quest is to actually remove every bit of the influences, and Swami Vivekananda calls them vibrations. If you want to remove all of those vibrations or distractions and reach that chitta, which is the purest form of ourselves, then let your intellect, your buddhi fully remain focused on that purest aspect of ourselves. So this is in a nutshell. So if we continuously do that, then Maharishi Patanjali has given eight steps on how all those distractions can go away and we can actually become actually find the Purush. The name they call the term Purush, it's the universal consciousness. For again, as I said, for a Christian, that's God. For a Hindu, it could be particularly Vishnu Bhagwan or Krishna Bhagwan or actual Brahman. Brahman is really the Hindus actually that get into the deeper aspect of Hinduism. They'll actually talk about Brahman. And for us Jains, it's really reaching our Atma. What is the purest form of Atma? And purpose of all of this, right? Now, whether you go to moksha and it's a beautiful eternal bliss, all of that is real. I have not experienced it. I have read a lot of it, and I've read it from people that I really revere of having knowledge. So I'm not going to dispute what moksha is, okay, and how it's written. The idea is, I know what my next moment will be. Investment for the next moment, stay in the sattvic thinking, then I can change what my next moment will feel like to me. And again, that runs very parallel to the idea of nirjara, sakam nirjara. You do lots of things to get into the mental state that's changing circumstances don't affect you. When the changing circumstances don't affect you, karmas actually drop off. And new karmas are not bound to you, and you become purer and purer. So either you go to moksha, or whether you go to moksha or not, but your next moment, the moment you have that power to say, I'm not going to be affected by the next moment, good or bad, desirable or undesirable circumstance that may come, I'm going to be completely centered, and I know exactly how I would operate because I am one with myself. If there's any investment to be made, whether you can't invest it all the way to moksha, whether you believe in it or not, the idea of looking at the next moment, next day, next month, rest of your life is really where the investment needs to go. So Purusha is the ultimate. If we can achieve the Purusha, we can get. So again, Maharishi Patanjali talks about this. We are constantly affected by the I-ness, the egos, the hankars, the sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Right? We're always stuck in this. In reality, is if you look at the picture on the right-hand side, even though it could be purest water, we can't see through it because there's so many waves. We are completely clouded, but when the waves start actually calming down, and we actually can create a step between stimulus and reaction, but there's this mental state in the middle. There's a step we can insert, which actually tells us that I am a centered individual. Stimuli can say, hey, something bad is about to happen, or something bad is already happening. But I know who I am. I am a peaceful individual. Maro Atma, my soul has infinite power, infinite compassion, infinite Anant Virya, Anant Gnan, Anant Darshan. If I have all of those qualities and I know what that is, then that vibration that gets created, all these waves that you see, immediately calm down. That water you can see through, and you can see the bottom, that clarity. When the clarity happens, that's where you reach the chitta. Chitta is your actual self. That is the Purusha. That is your true self that you can start experiencing. So let's go into the book. The book itself. It was written by Maharishi Patanjali. The 400 to 200 BC. There's still, it's not exact timing. Nobody knows. It was based on Sankhya philosophy. And it has adopted several terminologies from Upanishads. Many of these religions have adopted these principles. The entire book is only 196 sutras. The beauty of all of that is, and there's some reasons for it too, if 196 sutras have turned into several thousands of pages of writing, that's how much people have revered this document. And the scholars of the time may have been extremely smart. If you think of 2,000 years ago, what could be written had to be very little because there were no real mechanisms. They did not have Microsoft Word and 1,000 copies of those. And easiest way to type and send this out, or paper, for instance. It was done in a very limited capability of writing. So when you think of some of these scriptures, whether it's Tatvar Sutra or any of the older scriptures you read, There, like Gita, for instance, is another great example. When you read those scriptures, every sutra, every word seems to have been adopted for a very deep reasons, and each word could turn into a long sermon. So only 196 sutras, but it's turned into lots of writings or lots of different philosophies. The moral of the entire book is yoga. What yoga really is a chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta, as I said, it is the purest form of ourselves. Purush, that's our consciousness. And the vritti is all these influences that we get from the mind or the memories that we have, the sanskars that we have, the ahankars we have. And it all of that, all the stuff that when you and the mind actually only starts thinking, only tools available for your buddhi or intellect that's presented to the mind is only coming from sattvic pieces. The vrittis get controlled. Nirodh is actual stoppage. It's not allowed, disallowing. So yoga is when you stop allowing your mind from wavering into different things, and you actually have this step between action and reaction. There's a response, decided response in the middle, action versus reaction, and there's something in the middle. My response. This is who I am. This is how I respond. The entire book has this foundation. Yoga is a restraint of fluctuation and patterns of consciousness. So I'm getting, I guess I got about 5-minute marker here. I'll run through the chapters here. So in the book, the Samadhi Pad is where Maharshi Patanjali starts. Samadhi Pad, I feel that he must have done it to show the prize. Samadhi is a state of consciousness. And again, in the second part, we will actually go through a lot more details here. But it's the idea of witness, the witnessing and witnessed. If I'm focusing on something, right, I am witness. And I'm focusing on, let's say, Bhagwan, right? So Maharishi Swami Bhagwan is who I'm witnessing, and Maharishi Swami Bhagwan is the one who's witnessed. Samadhi is when all three fuse and there is no Amit anymore. And that brings in lots of powers. And he describes the idea of Samadhi and how it can lead to Kaivalya, which is very much identical to what we would call Kevalya. Okay. The second chapter, which is where a lot of mechanical practices that we have adopted over time, and we lost in some cases, we've lost the ability to remain spiritual, as because some of these practices give you quick results, especially the item number 3 and 4. Those actually solve physiological problems for many. We tend to do what we call yoga, and you go drive around the city and you see 50 of these places that says yoga. Not every one of them think of all the other 8. I don't want to criticize, but the idea is that Maharishi Patanjali went through and said, Yama is the first steps of behavioral changes. If you look at the top line of the 4 items that are there, those are things that you can consciously do. So yama are the ethical behaviors. Niyamas are observances. These are rules that you follow. You actually say, "This I'm going to do this for this certain period of time." Tap. I have bahya tap, antarik. Driven again. Always remember, if it doesn't remove your kashais, it doesn't mean anything. But it gives you foundational steps. The first 2. Then the third is the distraction. Remember, chitta vritti nirodha. Distraction also includes the body itself. For us to focus on chitta, if you're sitting down and you have to turn your body 15 times in 15 minutes and you can't sit still, you can't do anything, and you're hurting and you're unhealthy, asanas are there to actually learn how to remove that entire distraction of the body. You're so still, and you actually can actually focus on chitta. You can actually have your mind focus on something without having to think about the body. Oh, my leg is going numb, or I can't sit properly. Something's starting to hurt. Pranayama is another very crucial piece. If you think of the world, or the universe is what? It's nature and energy. Consciousness is similar to energy. What I have and what you have that makes us different from anything that's dead or not alive is that consciousness, that energy, right? Pran is the entire idea of breathing. Breathing is not pran. Breathing is how pran manifests itself within ourselves. Pran can be the universal consciousness. But breathing is the closest thing we can get to experience that. Because we all know that the moment we stop breathing, when the pran stops manifesting itself, we are dead. We become matter. And then the next 4 steps are really about how, once you've done these specific conscious efforts, yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, you're going to start opening doors of your mind. Those 4 things we talked about, the chit, the man, buddhi, and ahankar, you're going to be able to start focusing on those pieces. And that's where this mental growth begins. And that's where a lot of the power starts manifesting. The next piece is the vibhuti pad. Vibhuti pad is, once you start doing these things, Maharishi Patanjali talks about what type of siddhis come. And in the next session, if we get time, I'll actually talk about how he actually keeps it so scientific on why it can happen, how you can get the manoparya jnana, which is really to be able to read somebody else's mind. He talks about many of those siddhis. As you do these practices and you do dhyan, dharana, and samadhi, you will be able to get these additional quote-unquote superpowers. And the yogi that actually has experienced the superpower can get lost right after it, because when the yogi comes back from samadhi, he or she knows that she actually has something more than everybody else, and that could drive additional ego. And if the ego actually starts taking over, they're going to fall miserably backwards on the. There's a lot of warning about how these practices could actually become seriously detrimental to us. Okay. And you don't necessarily get towards liberation. And again, this goes hand in hand. Hatha yoga, kundalini yoga could be extremely powerful, but if that's going to turn into an ego because I'm going to look better, I'm going to make more money, and I can do more, then it's not really helping to become spiritual. The last chapter is about Kevalgyan. It's Kaivalyapada. Every religion has different ways of describing what happens at the end. For us, it's Amani Dasha, Jnata Drashta. Those are some words that we use. But the idea is you have completely learned how to control your man, your mind. The vrittis that we have no longer affect us at all. So much so that the body is not needed anymore. And you are completely centered in that mode forever. That's the idea of Anant Gnan, Anant Virya, infinite everything, infinite greatness, infinite blissfulness. So Kaivalyapad is that. And again, the paradox here is those who have attained Keval Gnan don't necessarily come back and say, let me write this down for everybody else. Hemchandracharya has an entire chapter dedicated, chapter 11, there's chapter 12, he talks about Shukla Dhyan. And he essentially says, I think I've gotten close to it, but I haven't experienced it. He actually makes it very clear that Kaivalya is a concept that's nobody's going to know enough about it. The idea, though, is it exists, and we need to be able to believe in it and have continuous quest towards Kaivalya. So I can just stop here, and we can pick up in the next session from here. Is that okay, Ritesh bhai?
That makes sense. All right. So thank you so much, Amit bhai. Looking forward for the next part of the session, the next meeting, and let's have a big round of applause for Amit bhai. All right. So moving to the next few sections. So now we are running. We need to really catch up we need to cover 3 major sections. So I'll quickly go over the announcements and then we'll move to the fun part of the Father's Day. The first most important announcement regarding the recent events in the nation. JSCNC, deeply saddened by the tragic events happening around us, we strongly believe that we should stand up against violence, terrorism, racism, and hate. It feels so good when young generation reaching out to me and discuss over this topic. It is easy to answer what we think about it, but when we try to think like what can we do, then it becomes a little difficult. So I think we all can at least take responsibility of educating ourselves or put effort toward making different communities feel welcome and valued. So we will see. We are planning to get in touch with some youth, and we'll see if we can find any opportunity to share with which can help us to change the world the way we want. Moving to the next one, considering the current situation around COVID-19, we have recently started a souvenir project. We have sent few emails around that. So I have appealed to all the members to start thinking about contributing towards this project. That will be great, kind of remember for all last 40 years for all of us. Next announcement is about JAP volunteers. We are engaged with HSNC in preparing meals to go to who are impacted with recent crisis. One batch of volunteers has already, prepared food for 500 people. We also donated $2,000 to HSNC food program. And let's have a big round of applause for JAP members for their wonderful gestures and time. So I want to just call out a few names who were there in the first batch. Hital Lahade, Pritesh Shah, Sejal Nanavati, Vikram Nanavati, Sasil Cheda, Rajan Cheda, and myself, Ritesh Salo. So let's have a round of applause for all the JAP volunteers. And the second batch of volunteers are ready to serve community and help HSNC next Saturday. So there is another set of volunteers are ready to serve. I would like to have a special mention to Paresh Gondalia and family for representing JSCNC for YJ Navkarja. So thank you so much, Paresh Bhai and family. The next announcement is about Chromebook project. We have received the next step. We are done with the donation. Most of the part we are the primary phase is done. Now we are preparing for the next step where we need to submit few applications and information to China. So we are looking forward to complete that in next coming days. And the last announcement is about our social media front. Now we have Facebook and now we have our new website to manage. We are looking forward for 2 major contribution from the members. One is your feedback about new website. Send us what you feel about it, what you want to see, or what can be improved. And then the second thing is, we are building a new social media team. I think email is out for that. And the purpose is, to manage our social media front and looking forward for you who can help us with this task. And with that, I'm done with all the announcements. And quickly moving to the next part. So now I would request all the members to adjust your mood a little bit. Now we are moving to the fun game session. All right. So as I mentioned earlier, we have set up a game to have fun among ourselves virtually. Same format, everything is same. Top 3 winners will be decided as we play and then contacted by committee in next few days with special gifts. And the gift is like $25 for the first place, $20 for the second place, and $15 for the third place. With that, let me share my screen. And anybody can confirm if they can see the screen?
Yeah, we can.
Perfect. All right. So I'm sure lots of members are become pro in this virtual game, considering we played similar game on Mother's Day. So for those who wasn't there, just quickly some guidelines how to play this. So please listen carefully. please use your spare phone device to play this game. Any number of family members can play this game. So I would request how many people wants to join from a family, feel free to join from your devices. What you need to do is, you need to just go to the URL mentioned here, ahaslides.com/father. Once you go there, you will be getting this screen on your mobile device. So before we get into the quiz, I want to just thought of getting a pulse of community, how community is feeling about the recent time. So I'm sharing a question, just vote accordingly. This is not a towards the quiz, but just as I said, just to get the pulse of the community.
Who's happy?
Wait for a few minutes so that people can find more. This year is really weird. We talked about father ની son જોડે સરખામણી કરાઈ છે and son goes missing on the Father's Day due to solar eclipse. Yeah. Maybe some people are worried about that. All right. So now moving to the next slide, where you will be asked to join, where you need to put down your name and you need to press join the game button underneath. So I see now the number of people are almost constant. So we can start the game. Hope you all are ready. And now moving to the first question. So I think, the most important thing I missed to mention, for every question, you will get 25 seconds to answer. And the most important is question rewards more points for the fast answer. So make sure you are accurate first and then quick enough to send this answer quickly.
Ritesh, it's open for committee members. Nobody knows the questions.
Oh yes, that's another one. So last time I know, people felt like paper putty hotu. This time, it is open for everyone. Again, it is just like last time. Sejal Ben and myself, only two people knows about the questions. Nobody knows about anything on this slide, on the quiz. All right, so starting the first question. There you go. Wow, that was something. So I have put leaderboard on every question so that it will become like, more interesting. People knows how do they need to perform. Just scroll through the numbers here. Let you know where you are. All right, so moving to the next question. Yes, there is a Father's Day flower. All right, so I see the answers are, very less number of people are correct. So there will be a lot of changes in the leaderboard. So again, the question paper was very strict between Sejal Ben and myself. Let's go to the next question. Now I see the number of seconds are less when they are answering. So within like 10 seconds, most of the people are catching up. Very good. All right, so now I see some, I think, others in the list, the leaderboard. One more time, scrolling through the leaderboard, where you are. Moving to the next question. Yeah, we just added some Bollywood fun. I see a lot of kids are helping their dads. Interesting. All right, so the leaderboard goes like, I see now first, second, fourth, all are like moms in the list. Paresbhai is doing great. Bhairavbhai is doing great. Kamleshbhai is catching up. Nice. I see a lot of dads are coming up. Anandbhai is there on 12. Nice. Come on, guys. Moving to the next quiz. Ethan, you are helping your kid about this, right? The answer. Right. And they still leading. Aditi is still on the second place. Paresh bhai, good. You're still on fifth. Good going, guys. Come on. Now the questions will turn a little bit tricky. All right. Sure, it will change. No, it is not. So those hasn't scored in this question. Aditi hasn't scored in this question. That's a good sign for other dads. So they can Kamlesh wise. Wow. He sent this answer very quick. Very good. I don't know who is SBC, but yeah, good going, guys. Mahesh bhai is now on the list. I think we don't need 25 seconds for this. All right, let's see what happens now. Great going, Kamlesh bhai. So you made it to number 3 now. I don't want to talk about number 1 and 2. And now Rajan is there, Mahesh bhai is there, Akash is there. So most of them are like, always on the list. Moving to the next question. All right, let's see now. This is the only competition I see. He scored 93 versus 94 from number 1 and number 2. Come on, guys, we can make it. I see Neha Kurwa is coming in. We don't want her in the top 10. We want all the dads to win this. Come on, dads. This is the most confusing one. Doesn't look like for JSCNC member it was confusing. All right, so moving to the leaderboard. 79, 84, 88. SPC, I don't know who is that, but that person is doing really good. Jyoti Ben is on the list, so Kamlesh Bhai and Jyoti Ben, tough competition. All right, so moving to the next one. Now this should be, all the seniors should know answer about this. Kamlesh Bhai has a chance to score. Probably, I don't know. Wow. Well done. I don't want to again talk about number 1 and number 2. Good job, Kamlesh Bhai, Rajan, great job. SBC got this incorrect. Let me scroll a little bit. All right. Moving to the next. Very nice. All right. Oh my God. So now Neha Turwa is on number 3. SBC is back. Number 4. And Mahesh Bhai is on number 10. Bhairav Bhai is now leading. All right. So now the question will become little tough. So pay attention and be accurate then quick. I see a lot of conflicts between the players on the screen. I hope all the blood pressures are normal. Nice. Now I need to stop Aditi for sure. Okay, so moving to the next one. Good job, Kamlesh Bhai, on that one. You got 90. Must be, because of the stock market, I would say. All right, so.
Hey Ritesh, one question. I could not answer this question. I didn't get the choice to answer.
Yeah, because you are scoring too much.
Oh, you stopped me on purpose?
No, sorry. I don't know what was the problem, but I don't think so.
I think Reena had the same issues. There are some people where it's acting up, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that's the issue, probably.
Okay. I could not answer. Okay.
I will
throw away the phone. Actually, I would not do this.
Papa.
All right. So, Paresh Bhai is there. Arav. Yes.
I continue.
Oh, you are playing?
Yeah. Social studies helps.
Okay. All right. So moving to the next question. So Paresh Bhai has a chance, Kamlesh Bhai has a chance, not too much of points of difference. It's like, one question here and there and you will make the difference. This should be a tax question, mostly. Nice. All right. Let's see. So all first to four hasn't changed. Bhairav Bhai, good to see you on fifth spot. SBC. So I see, tight competition between from number one to number 6. Anybody can make it. So let's move to last two questions. All right. So I see, like maybe around 50% got it correct. There is a chance score has changed. So let's see the leaderboard now. Paresh Bhai is number 2. Kamlesh Bhai, great job. Great job, Bhairav Bhai. Nice. SBC, great. Everybody moved one spot. And Anand Bhai, I see you on number 7. So great. So it boils down to the last question. Neha should get this incorrect, and then people can make it. I see most of the dads in the list. That's a good thing. So now moving to the last question.
Is
Just
it Neha playing or Ketan playing?
What's that?
Is it Neha playing or Ketan playing?
I believe Neha. She is very good on this Super Bowl as well. All right. So moving to the last question, just be careful when you read and answer accordingly. And here you go. All right. So before I move to the leaderboard, I hope the dads will win, or maybe we need to change the policy at the last moment. I hope dads will win, and certainly no. I don't want to see Aditi Salot on number 1. That's the first thing. All right, let's go. Neha, good job. At least you are there. And Paresh Bhai, you are like almost there. So great job, guys. I see Kamlesh Bhai there, SBC, Bhairav Bhai, Anand Bhai. Good job. I see most of the dads are there. I don't know if I can scroll this. Yeah, I can. I should be able to scroll. Second.
So Ritesh, my mistake was the photo that you had. I was looking for your name as the answer choice. That took me a long time.
I see. Okay, so
Ritesh, stop scrolling down, man. Leave it there. That's it.
Yes, agree.
all right. So I scroll to 15, top 15, just to let them know how many points they built.
But Ritesh bhai, this was not fair because I don't know about Neha, but some of the questions were very much related to dads.
Yeah, that was intentional actually, Rekha.
Yeah, it was intentional. So then you should have just let the dads play.
I know, but I don't know how Neha is so good in this.
Maybe I don't know who is googling at the same time.
Not possible to Google an answer. It's very difficult actually.
Neha will give inner speech.
Teamwork, guys. That was teamwork.
Neha winning speech.
He's certainly good in typing than Ketan. All right, so congratulations, Neha. Once again, so top three winners we have is Neha Kurwa, Paresh Bhai and Kamlesh Bhai. So congratulations to top three winners, and you will get email soon from committee about your gifts. All right, hope you all have fun, just like last time we had. And now quickly moving to the next part of the meeting. So this is about, there are a few dads who reached out to me to continue, JSCNC Father's Day tradition. So this tradition is all about Father's Day funny stories. So without taking much time, let me hand over to the dads who are willing to share their stories. They are holding from from last few years. So with that, first I'll hand over to Anand Bhai. Anand Bhai, over to you.
The day. And then Ritesh and executive committee, thank you for allowing us to continue this tradition in a virtual format, obviously. So, just a real quick, those of you who may not know what this tradition is, usually Father's Day picnic falls typically in June on Father's Day, and we will have an outdoor session. And typically just before the lunchtime, we tended to reach kind of a lull to keep everybody engaged. So we used to call this, the PKS variety show. Again, credit goes to Praveen Uncle for instituting some fun element way back when to keep everybody engaged. So, the next couple of segments we have prepared, they are again intended to deliver just some humor on Father's Day. It is not intended to hurt anybody's feelings. So please, Michami Dukadam on behalf of everybody. But I just wanted to set up the stage before I hand it off to Praveen Uncle. So Praveen Uncle, I think we should go with you first. If you can unmute and turn on your video if you have not done so.
I always have a complaint that the Father Day comes once a year. And for mothers and wives, so many days comes into it. All right. And at least we should continue our tradition. So here are the way how you can understand men and women characteristics. A woman marries a man expecting he will change, but he does not. A man marries a woman expecting she will not change, and she continuously changes. Okay. To be happy with a man, you must understand him. You must understand him a lot and love him very little. To be happy with a woman, you must love her and never try to understand. A man will pay $2 for $1 item he wants. A woman will pay $1 for $2 item she doesn't want. Any married man should forget his mistakes. It doesn't make any sense two people remembers the same thing. A successful man is the one who makes more money than his wife can spend. A successful woman is one who finds such men. And the last, a woman has the last word in any argument. Anything a man says after that, it's the beginning of the new argument. Look at it. All right. So
બેન બાજુમાં છે કે નહીં
no,
બેન બાજુમાં છે કે નહીં
no, she's preparing the food.
આટલી હિંમત આવી છે ગુરુજી
આમાં થોડા નવા હતા. There was some new
Otherwise, I
ones.
will not get my food.
All right, I think we have Suresh Bhai to go next, please.
All right, can you hear me okay? Yes?
Yes.
So it's very, very hard to follow Praveen Uncle, as you guys know, in any topic, including the jokes. But I've been approved to say these jokes. Guruji ordered me to do it, and Jyoti approved it. So I think we're good to go here.
This must be the PG version.
A man brings his best buddy home for dinner unannounced at 5:30 after work. His wife begins screaming at him, and his friend just sits and listens in. My hair and makeup are not done. The house is a mess. The dishes are not done. I'm still in my pajamas, and I can't be bothered with cooking tonight. Why the hell did you bring him home for? The husband answers, because he's thinking of getting married. A couple was having a dinner at a fancy restaurant. As the food was served, the husband said, "The food looks delicious. Let's eat." Wife says, "Honey, you say prayer before eating at home." Husband says, "That's at home, sweetheart. Here the chef knows how to cook." Best slogan on a man's t-shirt: "Please do not disturb me. I'm married and am already very disturbed." Employee says, "Sir, you're like a lion in the office. What about at home?" The boss says, "I am a lion at home too. Goddess Durga sits on the lion there."
That's the best one.
And this last one, my particular tribute to all the dads, and especially those like me who likes to cook. And I went ahead and got excited for Father's Day, and I said, I asked, shall I prepare sambar or rasam today? And so the answer I got was, first make it, we will name it later. All right, Anand, on to you.
Thank you. I just couldn't contain my laughter. I think we have Ketan Shah, Ketan Purvi Shah. Are you on?
Hey guys, I'm on.
All right.
Okay.
You can hear you. Go ahead.
So just like every good presentation, writing and all, we acknowledge somebody's creativity. Like, we've been doing in Jain deliveries and all. So same thing here also, I would call out Praveen Bhai for his talent here. So none of this is mine. I was amateur a few years ago when I used to just read out what was given to me, and come Monday, the Sunday after Father's Day, I was wondering why is Purvi mad at me, but it took me a while to figure that out. So all the credit goes to Praveen Bhai here. I'll start on money. A man will pay $2 for a dollar item he needs. A woman will pay $1 for a $2 item that she doesn't need, but it's on sale. Dressing up. A woman will dress up to go shopping, water the plants, empty the trash, answer the phone, read a book, and get the mail. A man will dress up for weddings and funerals. Future. A woman worries about the future until she gets a husband. A man never worries about the future until he gets a wife. Nicknames. If Laura, Kate, and Sarah go out for lunch, they will call each other Laura, Kate, and Sarah. If Mike, Dave, and John go out, they will affectionately refer to each other as Fat Boy, Dummy, and Pitbulls. And she walks here, so I gotta be careful. Natural. Men wake up as good looking as they went to bed. Women somehow deteriorate during the night. And with that, I don't dare anymore to speak, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, you better keep quiet. Thank you.
Purvi's here now.
Thank you, Ketan. So, just on the light side, as Ketan said, talked about the material, but, he's kind of channeling his inner thoughts too. So, for me, I'm going to read a Father's Day proclamation, right? In a hope that anything I'm about to say will probably be received well and some things will change. Probably.
So you want to keep the video on for this one, Anand? Just saying.
Shweta is right here, so I have the approval like you. So men are not mind readers. Ask for what you want in plain English. Let's be clear on this one. Subtle hints don't work. Strong hints do not work. Obvious hints don't work. If something we say can be interpreted in two ways, and one of the ways makes you sad or angry, we always meant the other way. If you ask a question you don't want an answer to, expect an answer you don't want to hear. If we ask you what is wrong and you say nothing, we will act like nothing is wrong. We know you are lying, but it's not just worth the hassle. Anything we say 1 week ago is inadmissible in an argument. In fact, all comments become null and void after 24 hours. This one is especially true for my household. Yes and no are perfectly acceptable answers to almost every question you ask. You can neither ask us to do something or tell us how you want it done, but not both. If you already know best how to do it, maybe you should just do it yourself. Sunday sports, it's like the full moon or changing of the tides. Let it be. And whenever possible, please say whatever you have to say during commercials. Come to us with a problem only if you want help solving it. And that's all we men do. Sympathy is what your girlfriends are for. Crying is definitely blackmail. When we have to go somewhere, absolutely anything you wear is fine. Really, we mean it. So that's it. I think we have Pritesh. He's going to go next.
You're on mute, Pritesh bhai.
I'm sorry. I will go with the disclaimer again. Whatever I say, it's not mine, and I would not ask Pranay bhai or Anand to be blamed for this one as well. So I'll go with it. Yeah, I've got Mira with me, so I have to be careful what I say. So, married life. How bedroom smells after marriage? First 3 years, perfumes, flowers, chocolate, fruits, maybe kesar no doodh. After 3 years, baby powder, Johnson's baby creams, lotion, baby oils. After 15 years, Jandu balm, wigs, iodex. And after 40 years, agarbatti, incense, and so forth. So, second one, first 4 stages of marriage. Mad for each other, made for each other, mad at each other, mad because of each other. What's marriage? Answer. Marriage is the seventh sense of humans that destroys all the six senses and makes the person nonsense. Definition of happy couple. It's like ours. He does what she wants. She does what she wants. Wife. She's asking here, this computer is not working as per my command. Husband. Exactly, darling. It's a computer, not a husband. Mistakes. Laughing at your mistakes can lengthen your life. That was Shakespeare. Laughing at your wife's mistake can shorten your life. That was Shakespeare's wife. So husband and wife, they're talking. A wife asked her husband, could you please go shopping for me and buy 1 carton of milk, and if they have avocados, get 6. A short time later, the husband comes back with 6 cartons of milk. The wife asked him, why did you buy 6 cartons of milk? He replied, they had only avocados. I don't know what that means, but it's okay. Water in the carburetor. Wife, there is a trouble with the car. It has water in the carburetor. Husband, water in the carburetor? That's ridiculous. Wife, I tell you, the car was water in the carburetor. I tell you, the car has water in the carburetor. Husband, you don't even know what a carburetor is. I'll check it out. Where is the car? He says it's in the pool. All right, this is a little too long. I'm not going to go through that. Let's just go with the last one. 25% of the women in country are on medication for mental illness. That's scary. It means 75% are running around untreated. Sorry, it was bad. I think this is too long. I'll pass on to Arshad Bhai right now.
Yes. Arshad uncle, you're next.
Okay. મારો વિડિયો દેખાય છે? આ બધું હારું હારું સાંભળ્યા પછી હવે મારું કામ આજે એવું છે કે એ મારા ઘરવાળાને ધમકાવવાનો છે. એટલે અમે બધી લેડીઝો ભેગી થઈ ને કહું તમને, મારું નામ હસમુખી હર્ષદ છે હો. એટલે મારી બધી બેનપણીઓ છે ને ગામમાં, બધી ડોક્ટરની બહુ છે, પાયલોટની બહુ છે, આની બહુ, બધું હોશિયાર હો મારી બેન. પછી મેં કીધું કે તમારે આજે કઈ બોલવું છે તમારા પતિ માટે? એટલે કે ઓ આ બધું ઘણું બોલવાનું છે. તો પછી પહેલી કોણ ઊભી થઈ ગઈ? પેલી પાયલોટની બૈરી. એ કે છે કે એ પેલો ઘરે આવે ને એવું એને તરત જ પેલા ધમકાવે, તમે તારે હવામાં ઉડ્યા જ કરો. પછી એ બોલી ને એ પેલા મિનિસ્ટરની પત્ની પાછી. હા, મિનિસ્ટર ગુજરાતના મિનિસ્ટર તો કેવા હોય છે તમને ખબર છે ને. એ બોલી, તમારા વચનો ક્યારેય પૂરા થાય છે ખરા? તમે બોલ બોલ કરો છો પણ તમે કર્યું કેટલું સરકારમાં જઈને? શિક્ષકની પત્ની આવે છે, તમે મને નહીં શીખવાડો, તમારે શીખવાડવું હોય તો ગામના પોયરાઓને જઈને શીખવાડો. પછી એક રંગોટીની બૈરી હતી, બહુ કચકચ કરશો ને તો તમારું થાંભલું જ રંગી નાખીશ. ધોબીની પત્ની આવી, તમારે ધોવાનું હોય ને તો નદી જઈને ધોવાનો. જો ઘરે મને કહેશો ને તો હું તમારી બરોબર ની ધુલાઈ કરી કાઢીશ. બધું ગમે છે ને તેમને? બોલા અવાજ ના આવે પાછો. એટલે પછી સુધારની પત્ની આવી. એ અમે ગામડામાં છે ને અમે બધા ભેગા થયા હતા. તો એક સુધારની પત્ની કે બહુ ઠેઠે કરશો ને મારી ઠોકીને ખીલા મારીને હરખા કરી દઈશ કે છે. બાપરે, તેલના વેપારીની. તેલ તો આપણે ગામમાં તો બધું તમારે બજારમાં લેવું પડે ને. 1 લીટર 2 લીટર બાટલા ભરી લાવવાના. તમે એમ કરો ને, તમે ઘરે આવ્યા છો ને તો તમે તેલ લેવા જાઓ. પછી દરજીની પત્ની બોલે છે કે છે મારું મોઢું સીવ્યું તો યાદ રાખજો હું તમારું તો મોઢું શું બધું સીવી કાઢ. અમારા ગામમાં છે ને પાછો એક ફિલ્મ નો અભિનેતા પણ રહેતો હતો. એની બૈરી પણ મારી બેટી હોશિયાર. કે તમારે ફિલ્મો કરીએ ને તો કરજો પણ હવે ઘરે આવીને આ બધું નાટક બંધ કરો કે. પછી રેલવે ડ્રાઈવર આપણે ત્યાં અમદાવાદ થી જામનગર ને સુરત ગાડીમાં જઈએ ને અમારા ગામડામાં આ એક પેલો ડ્રાઈવર રે તો એની પત્ની એના ઘરે આવે ને પેલો બિચારો આવી ગઈ ને ગાડી લાઈન પર આવી ગઈ ઘરે આવ્યા છો ને એટલે તમારી લાઈન બધી સીધી જ રહેશે. ઓકે બહુ હોશિયાર હોય હો. આજે તમે બધા ફાધર્સ ડે ની વાતો કરી એટલે ફાધર ના ગુણગાન ગાવા જોઈએ ને છોકરાઓ બધા ફાધરો ને બહાર લઈ ગયા છે. કેમ કે પૈસા જોઈએ ને તો બાપા આપે એટલે આજે હેપી ફાધર્સ ડે કરે છે. ડેન્ટિસ્ટ ની પત્ની આવી પાછી તો ડેન્ટિસ્ટ ની પત્ની એ તો પછી દાંતો સરખા કરે ને પેલો બિચારો દુકાને લેબોરેટરીમાં દાંતો હરખા કરતો હોય. પેલો ઘરે આવે ને એટલે કે જો તો ગડબડ કરશો ને તો દાંત તોડીને હાથમાં આપી દેતા પાછો તમારા. ઓ ગભરાઈ ગયો અને આપણો બિચારો ગુજરાતી આવા બધા મોટા ભાગના ગુજરાતી છે તો એ એના વર્ને કે છે ઘેરે આવે એટલે કે ચૂપ બેસો હું કહું તેમાં ત્યાંશે નહીં તો ઘરમાં રહેવાનું ભારે પડી જશે. આવ્યા છે મોટા. આ બધું મારી બેનપણીઓ ભેગી થઈ ને આજે ગામ વાળા અમારા છોકરાઓ છે ને બાપા લઈ ગયા હતા બહાર ખવડાવવા ને કરવા કારણ કે પૈસા મળે ને તો આજે મને ચાન્સ મળ્યો ને એટલે મારી બેનપણીઓને ભેગી કરી ને હર્ષિદા હસમુખી હર્ષિદા છે ને આ મારા પતિઓની વાતો કરી. આઈ હોપ તમને ગમી હોય ને તમે માનશો માફ કરજો આજે બધા ફાધર્સ ડે ના દિવસે આવું બોલવું પડ્યું. મારું પતી ગયું.
Thank you for that short play. Natak script. Ritesh, over to you.
Cool. Thank you so much, everyone, for this tradition to keep alive. And without wasting much time, I think I need to hand over to Sejal Ben for something special.
Thanks, Ritesh, and happy Father's Day to fathers. And we are just we have a special Usagram recitation by one of our Pathshala students. I just want to say that he learned this Usagram in just 2 days and with such clear Gujarati pronunciations, and I'm so proud of him. Thanks to his mom as well for making him learn in such a short time. This should be an inspiration for all other kids and even for us adults to learn to have our time utilized in a good way or by learning something that we don't know. And now, without any further ado, we'll pass it over to Arav Salot for Uvasagaram recitation. Go, Arav.
Jai Jinendra, everyone. I'm Arav and I'm going to recite Uvasagaram. Uvasagaharam pasam pasam mandami khamakaramukam. Visahara Visaninasam Mangar Kalnara Avasam. Visahara Fulingamanto Kantithari Jo Sayamano Tasakaha Rogaman Jara Janti Upasamam. Ito Dure Manto Tujipanamo Vi Bau Falo Hoi. Natri Yesu Vi Jiva Pavantina Dukto Gacham. Tuha Samatte Ladde Chinta Manikappa Paya Vapahiye Pavanti Abhigenam. Jiva Ramanam Thanam. Yasantua Mahaya Sa Patti Bharane Bharena Hiena Tadev Dijupohim Ave Pave Pasa Jinachanda.
Thank you, Arav. That was wonderful. Great job. All right, over to you, Ritesh.
All right, so thank you so much. So we are at the end of the meeting. So thank you, and we appreciate staying a little long with us and your attendance to this virtual session. Have a great rest of your day and see you in the next meeting. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra. Bye.
Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra. Bye, everyone.
પેલી હર્ષિદા કેવી હતી બરાબર બોલતી હતી
સરસ એકદમ હતો.
એ આ ગુરુજીએ કીધેલું ને એટલે જ બોલ્યો છું હો.
તમારું આવી જશે રેકોર્ડિંગમાં, જોઈ લેજો.
હાથી આજો એક ગામમાં મોકલી.
ચાલો જય જિનેન્દ્ર.
જય જિનેન્દ્ર.
બધાને ઓકે ચલો હું દુકાન બંધ કરું ને.